Perfect. Thank you.
We have had some friendly but unwelcomed visitors at our meetings in the past, and so we've had to be a little stricter now, and that is open. Okay, so Ariel, thank you for coming, and Mina as well. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ana Maria Ferreira de Melo. I'm the president of the MidBeach Neighborhood Association. MBNA represents condominiums and hotel from 24th Street to 63rd Street along Indian Creek Drive and Collins Avenue. We hold monthly meetings from January to June, and then again from September to November on any normal year where our hotels are dealing with Art Basel in December. So this year, keeping with our traditional and voted upon agenda, our calendar earlier on this year, we are not having a meeting in December, meaning this is our last meeting of the year. I do want to open with saying that we have many board members on today's call, and I want to go ahead and welcome them before we welcome all of our guests. Alicia Casanova, if you'd like to say hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Alicia is our ex officio member and our chair of the Beach Walk, and as well as the Collins Avenue working groups. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking you want to join that working group, just check out Alicia during the meeting. And if you want to work with her, then you can join the working group. Esteban Porcelli.
Yes. Yes. I open my.
Wave like this, Esteban.
Okay.
See you wave.
Okay.
Welcome, Esteban. And Esteban is also a general board member, and he is an engineer by trade and leads our Indian Creek working group. And we have Melinda.
Talk about the stuff that he does. I mean, the thing that he does with his camera.
Yes.
How could I forget that? That is a very good point. So Esteban Porcelli is also our drone master. So on our website, through social media, if you see all of those drone videos that we take of the different projects, then you'll see that they all come from Esteban's shop. That's him. That's him doing his magic. We also have with us today Charlotte Tomic. Charlotte, would you like to wave to everyone? Okay. And
yeah, did you get my wave?
we don't see you actually. We see a picture.
Oh, okay, but you got the wave, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And and we have Michelle Redlick, who is here representing the Fountain Blue. Michelle, we've asked you to unmute, and welcome to the meeting.
Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome.
So thanks, everyone. We don't know when we'll go back to in-person meetings, but I did want to give another update on the calendar that's coming up. We will start in January again, and in February, we will have the Office of the Inspector General with us to be able to talk a little bit about the projects that they're overseeing and some of the work that MBNA has done in the past in the intersection with them. Today, we have a commissioner with us. I see Commissioner Minor is here with us.
Hello, Anna Marie and everyone. I'm actually driving, so I'm keeping the video off until I get home.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for always joining and supporting MBNA. And I see that your team is also with us, so thank you. Am I missing any other elected officials? Okay, we will go ahead and begin. Jeff, welcome as well. Okay, so member updates. We were talking a little bit a moment ago about MBU. We have today Raquel Pacheco, who's with us today on behalf of MBU. She says she's just listening in. She's not going to say anything, but Raquel, please do feel free to interject or share any updates that you might have on MBU. And we as a board have been a member of MBU for the last couple of years, but somehow with COVID and everything else, this year our membership has not gone through. And so I'd like to know if there is a motion for MBNA to join MBU for the 2020 year, even though I bet you thought we were already members. Is there a motion from anyone?
Yes, motion one.
There's a motion from Esteban. Is there a second?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jack. And do I have a second from someone on the exec board?
I approve.
Okay, and also seconded by Michelle to support our members second. And is everyone in favor?
In favor.
Okay, if I can just see your hands either virtually or physically. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. And so Melinda, if you can go ahead and process that payment for the next month, then that would be wonderful.
Hi, Anna Marie. It's Raquel. Can you hear me?
Hey Raquel, I can now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you joined. Yay. This is great. So I just, as you mentioned, I'm not really here to speak. I just wanted to join in. I will tell you a couple of things real briefly. MBA is actively, as you know, we're a nonprofit organization that's focused on resident issues, and our entire goal is to advocate for residents and our quality of life. And we deal with a lot of development issues, and we also deal with everything that comes from the commission, and we look at the agendas, and we kind of pick it apart, and we solicit input from residents so that we can advocate on their behalf. So just to let you know, as of now, we're working on two major initiatives. One is the tow companies. We're pushing really hard to go to an RFP process and to just in general, enhance the services and make them more transparent. So keep an eye out for that. We're making tremendous progress on that end. And we hope we have the support in large of the commission and the mayor in our efforts there. And we're also pushing forward on what we call System is Broken initiative, which is really our goal to just get more balanced residential representation in boards and commissions. So we're going to be focused on that a lot in the new year as well. So thank you so much for having me. That's another reason why I'm here, is that we're really doing our best to make MBU more present in the community and to attend the local meetings, the neighborhood association meetings, so we can really understand what your issues are specifically. And that's that. So you'll be seeing me or one of our representatives at your meetings on a more regular basis. Thank you so much.
We thank you, Raquel. And is MBU still accepting individual memberships?
Absolutely, we are.
Great.
Yes, we actually just launched something called the Partnership Initiative, in which we are asking residents to volunteer for local food banks, for food drives, we worked with a League of Women Voters during the election, of course, and in exchange for 2 hours of your time, we're giving away free memberships, free 1-year memberships. So feel free to share that with your friends and your colleagues, and encourage them to sign up and tell us if you want to volunteer. We'll happily give you a free year membership. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Raquel. And we'll certainly promote that. And we're sorry that MBNA didn't realize that we hadn't renewed our membership this year.
That's okay.
'Cause we definitely appreciate you all and have really relied on you to represent the broader issues for us. As many of you know, at the last meeting, we passed a resolution. MBNA will not be taking any positions on any items outside of our boundaries from 24th to 63rd along Indian Creek and Collins Avenue. So in that case, we more than ever will be relying on MBU and other partners, although we encourage all of our members to get involved in all citywide projects, and on 41st Street, especially with the Blue Ribbon Committee and Geo Bonds Oversight Committee, we are not taking positions on anything outside of our boundaries as a collective.
Well, that's wonderful. We're happy to partner with you and help in any way that we can. Just one last thing, it's miamibeachunited.org. I forgot to mention the website. So if you're
The
interested.
link is in our website, midbeach.net. So just go directly to midbeach.net and you can access MBU as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Welcome to all the members who have just joined us recently, and a special welcome to Russ. You ran a beautiful campaign, and we are so grateful for your leadership in our community and for your willingness to continue to serve. So welcome to today's meeting.
Diana Fontani, representing Michael Gongora. She just joined as well.
Diana, it's great to have you here, and we are sending our best wishes to the commissioner. Hope he's strong, getting stronger every day. Okay, so I was kind of delaying, as most of you know, when I facilitate and I do this, I tend to do that. We don't have our Vice President and Secretary with us, Deborah Lake, to walk us through our minutes approvals, but I do have our minutes up and I know our executive board has seen them and reviewed them. I have October minutes up in, I'm gonna share our screen and see if anybody is willing to do a vote. Okay, and all of these minutes, as everyone knows, they are up on our website, as Alicia mentioned earlier, www.midbeach.net. Do we have any questions about the minutes from the executive board?
I make a motion to approve the October 7th, 2020 minutes as presented.
Alicia has made a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Second.
Melinda Pierce has second. All in favor, please raise your digital hands
Aye.
Aye.
or physical, whatever you're feeling.
Aye.
Did I see no
Aye.
digitals? Okay, I see all physical. It's a very physical group. Great, so we are set. And any opposed? Hear none, all in favor. Motion passes and the October minutes are approved. And those will be up on our website for anybody to look at if they'd like. So our treasurer report is our next item. Melinda Pierce.
Okay, our treasurer's report. I was up like probably everybody else all night long, so hopefully I can get through it good. Our treasurer's report. The current balance in the Iberia bank account is $5,298.51. Since our last Iberia bank statement, which is the balance of September the 30th, we have $5,048.51. The bank balance from our last meeting, which was October 7th, was $5,298.51. We've had no deposits since the last meeting of October. We have not written any checks, and we do not have any pending account payables. So our membership to date remains the same as it's been for the last couple of months. We have 52 members, 38 are condominiums, and 14 are hotels. We still are waiting for membership renewals. There's 8 condominiums and 5 hotels that need to renew. And we're working on prospective new members. We've got 3 condominiums that we're hoping will come in: the Bath Club, Mirasol Ocean Towers, and La Rive Gauche. And we're working on 4 hotels: the Confident, Pally House, Miami Beach Hotel, the Hampton House, and 6080 Hotel. It remains the same. Our annual fees are $50 for condominiums and $250 for hotels. And you can go to our website and download a membership application, fill it out, and send it in.
It's
Thank
.net,
you.
not .com is the only correction there. The website, midbeach.net.
.net, yes.
One question, Melinda. Do you, is the membership from January to December?
No, your membership is from the time that you became a member.
I don't remember that though.
You're good. You sent in, we have Seacoast.
Okay,
You're
good.
good until I think April.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that something that would make it simpler for the members? And is that something that would impact MBNA if we had our membership from January to December, Melinda?
I don't really think so, because our membership has been coming in, you know, at different times. So, I mean, how do you work that if you have new members? It should really be from the time that you become, I personally think, from the time you become the member.
As long as you can manage it.
Yeah. Any other comments on membership? For those of you that are always thinking is it time for me to renew, etc.? Any comments from any of our members?
I know that we were discussing and talking with some of the hotels, and because of COVID this year, a number of hotels, they do not have it in their budget to do the 250, and we maybe should look at perhaps giving them a 1-year free membership, and then after that, the next year they can, you know, do their, I don't know, something that we
I
could.
think that's a great idea. I think we need to motivate hotels. Hotels play a big role in our organization, and they're really hurting right now. So I would totally agree to make a motion to approve, to waive the membership fee for 1 year from the time they register to the following month. So let's make an official motion.
Well, I wanted to stop us right there. At the last executive meeting, we discussed this as a board. We made a motion and it passed. And so today, I believe we're just ratifying the decision that was made under new business. And maybe I'm not, maybe that's not correct, but it.
No, we can ratify it. We can either do it now in the treasurer's report since she presented it, or we can just ratify it let's do it now. Might as well.
Sure. If everyone feels more comfortable with that. So is there a motion to ratify the decision that was made by the executive?
Motion to ratify.
Okay, so I made a motion and Michelle seconded. All in favor is,
Aye.
I in favor.
okay, motion is.
Hear none, all in favor, motion passes. Any comments from any of the members? Okay,
No.
and Karen, you mentioned earlier you wanted the link for Miami Beach United to join. The link is now in the chat.
Thank you.
And if I don't respond to the chat because some have come through, just feel free to resend the message. Okay, so our next item for today is the update on MBNA elections. So if you all remember, because of COVID, we said we would push our elections from April to November. Well, we realized that that is not possible without modifying our bylaws and getting a 100% vote. And the modification would then take 30 days to be taken into effect. And so when we realized this after we had asked for many of you to submit your bios, and we were so grateful for everybody and for your eagerness to serve on the board and serve our community, we realized that this would really not be able to happen until February. And so we've decided as an executive board to hold off elections until our annual meeting, which is currently in April. Again, I think it just simplifies things for an organization, especially a volunteer-based one, to be able to have everything from January to December. And so that's a discussion maybe for another day for the board to have, to see if we are willing to change our annual meetings to January rather than to April. Any questions on the elections? One question I did receive via email, which I thought was a great one and wanted to bring it up to everyone, is can we still submit our bios then? Is it still open? And yes, it is. We're always looking for new leadership. We're always looking for new members. Please note that the requirement for board members, aside from attending these meetings and having occasional in-between meetings, will also be to be actively involved in a working group. And so you will either chair a working group as an executive board member, or you will actively participate in support the working group so that we can get a lot done in between meetings and really move the needle within our community on our community issues. Any questions? Everyone's quiet today. Everyone was up late.
I'm moving along fast.
I know, I don't think I've ever moved this fast before. Okay, thanks, Eda. Appreciate that. Okay, next item, Indian Creek Drive project updates. And so Esteban Porchali, as our working group chair, if you could give everybody a quick update on our recent meeting with the city and with stakeholders about Indian Creek. What were some of the topics that were discussed? And then the rest of the board will chime in, and then we'll hand it off to Mina to receive updates from what was discussed at that meeting, since things have kind of moved along since our October meeting. Esteban?
Yes, last week, the city mentioned that soon we're gonna get a permit from them for the seawall, because this is the pending issue, very important. And regarding the actual construction, the people are working in 35th Street and 36th Street, and the big pie, 72 inches diameter, the main pipe underground is already reached the 39th Street. It's only 2 more blocks and they're gonna finish with that. And also they are working, refilling the Indian Creek right now. Today and yesterday, I saw a lot of truck bringing new soil to elevate the road. And the general contractor is working every day. It's going very good, the construction right now. But the more important now is we see what happens next time with the city about the seawall.
Thank you for that update.
I make a video from 36 to 41st. You can see in our website the condition that is actually is. All right, that's it.
Thanks so much, Esteban. So just to add to that, we have reached out to Commissioner Higgins about the permit for Durham that they said would take maybe 2 months. And so we congratulated her on her win. And we're waiting to hear back on what the permit process, if there's a way to kind of expedite that on the at the county level to help be able to get to the other permits. And additional items that were discussed at the board meeting or at the working group meeting. Alicia, would you like to talk a little bit about the divider for the separated bike lane along Indian Creek Drive?
Yes, it's a big problem. We've been for years saying that the MBNA advocates for segregated or separated bike lanes. In other words, no mixed use where pedestrians and bicycles and strollers and dogs are all together. We always, we're hoping that in the future it could be throughout the city. But in Indian Creek, we got the bike lane, and then we started submitting different cool looking and safe dividers. It turns out that because it's FDOT has 2 standard delineators, which is what they're called, which are the typical white tubes that in our estimation get run over and get filthy and are not really safe. They wanted to put them 10 feet apart. We argued that big time, at 10 feet, you can get a person texting, running into a bike. So it did not feel safe to us. So they've agreed to go back and present us with a couple of alternatives and put them hopefully at 6 feet, still far from each other, but at least a little better. We submitted this wave design that was beautiful, that's in some other states, and no, the FDOT denied that. So we are right now waiting for them to see, and Mina, I don't know if she's got updates on that, of what is going to be allowed, which is very limited. And we'll continue trying to argue it, but it looks like the city can't be helping us with that because it's FDOT.
And actually, so I just want to give 2 quick updates on that one. And so Josiel Ferrer from the Department of Transportation and Jose Gonzalez, the Director of the Department of Transportation, I believe is with us today. So Jose, please correct me if I'm wrong. But what we left it at the meeting, one of the action items was for Josiel to reach out to Tiffany Gerke, the ped bike coordinator at FDOT, and be able to coordinate and hopefully with her support, be able to help the rest other departments within FDOT to shift their culture and to allow a designated or a separated bike lane that makes sense and that protects the cyclist, especially because the other side of it is this Jersey barrier. A Jersey barrier, which is another item that this working group is working on. The Jersey barriers are ugly. They're about 4 inches taller than the ones on Dade Boulevard. They don't have a pretty railing above them, and they do not have landscaping on the inside of them. They're just gray. And so what will we do to try to have a covering on them, or have some type of we're hoping there'll be more of a natural, something that was proposed was a plastic covering that looks like a planter, but with all of the sustainability initiatives within the city, it seemed to kind of conflict with maybe some of the goals that we're trying to strive for. And so we're hoping that maybe a natural solution will be brought forth that will help cover these Jersey barriers. The walking path seems to still be in the same place it was the last few times we've spoken, so we don't really have an update on that. Harmonization is something that after Mina, within Mina's update, hopefully she'll let us know for both Collins Avenue and Indian Creek Drive. So there will be harmonization of the road within Indian Creek Drive and the side roads, as well as a couple of properties on Collins Avenue that we've asked to receive an update today. So Mina, the floor is all yours. Tell us, share with us, give us some great news since the last working group.
Good evening. I hope you're all well and having fun. You guys know pretty much everything. What is happening is as Stepan reported, that everybody is working hard. The progress is good, and we're reaching 41st Street hopefully soon within the next few weeks. with the drainage system. They're going to start building the road from 41st Street and heading south because that is that there's no issues at that location, so they can start building the road and come on back towards south. The harmonization is happening along the side streets. They're rebuilding the side streets and doing the harmonization along the side street and along the properties on the east side on Indian Creek as they're going along. They are pretty much up, I think, to 36th Street right now. The Collins, I didn't know you asked for status on harmonization on Collins Avenue, but harmonization on Collins Avenue is a part of the phase 2 of the project. So it would be after they finish with this phase of the project, they will start the phase 1 and work their way from south to north on Indian Creek. I have to look at as I mentioned the other day, we did have a little delay on the project due to the issues that we have had with installing the 72-inch pipe and all of that. So the contractor has revised their schedule and sent us a revised schedule just a day ago. So I haven't had the chance to really look at it and examine it and give you some rough estimation of time as into where they're going to be, when they're going to be done with phase 1, 2 and get phase 1 and get on to phase 2. I will do that for you, but you have to give me a little bit of time to review their schedule and if there are any changes that need to be made by the contractor. Regarding I don't know, did you want me to talk about the Jersey barriers?
Yes, that would be great quickly, but yes.
Okay, so the Jersey barriers, I have reached out to the gentleman who designed the boxes to continue the conversation and see if there's any opportunity to modify and implement maybe something like that on Indian Creek if FDOT approves it. Otherwise, we are still following the concept of putting the synthetic planting like they have on the US 1, the wall on US 1 on south east side of the US 1, on south US 1 around Vizcaya Hotel or Vizcaya Museum. I'm sorry.
Vizcaya. I think you said the same as Indian Creek. You meant the same as Day Boulevard with the
No, it would be
No, I believe she's, Mina, sorry to interrupt. I believe you're referring to US 1, which is the plastic ones that we said would not be aligned with Miami Beach's sustainability goals of, because when that plastic, as Rodney had suggested previously, when portions of that plastic come apart or don't last over time, we have to replace them in their different colors, and the people pick at it and they throw the plastic into the waterways. And so to be able to prevent some of that, we were looking at more natural options. Have you been able to make any progress on that?
Yeah, that is something that really Rodney needs to also opine on that. I will follow up with him and see if he has come up with something and invite him to the next meeting so he can make a report. But remember, he talked about also the landscaping. You know what? I'm not a landscape architect or a landscaper, so I'm going to ask him to join our meeting next time so he can provide a status on that one. But beside that, something to be installed on the traffic side of the barrier. I really don't know what else that we can come up with that FDOT will approve. But anyway, I do have a meeting with the gentleman who designed the barrier boxes or the green boxes, and we'll continue our conversation with him and see how far we can go with those.
Okay, and what about the delineators, the bicycle dividers?
That's Giselle. Yes, it's Giselle. Sorry, I couldn't get my audio to work the first time this was mentioned. So as you correctly mentioned, Alicia, the design office from DOT had initially rejected the wave delineator. So we're working on obtaining 2 additional products as well as the wave delineator and going through as suggested by FDOT, going through the bicycle coordinator's office to seek a pilot for this type of products. as you had requested, I'll be sending you tonight, and I wish I could have sent it to you, but I was awaiting some specs. 2 additional products that we have looked at that are from a company that we'll be using in another project, and then we'll make them available to you, and you let me know what your thoughts are on the product, and I will commence coordination for a pilot to see what other product other than a conventional delineator we can use for this type of application. In addition to that, I will also work with this same office of the bicycle coordinator to try to reduce the spacing on the delineators, so that we can reduce that to anywhere between 4 to 5 feet, to ensure that a vehicle cannot fit through one of these gaps and strike a pedestrian in such a curvy road such as Indian Creek. So those are the 2 upstanding items that I hope to have some positive news for you guys next month's meeting.
That is great news. We have to think outside the box. This is Miami Beach. I mean, no, you have to get creative, and we're here to give our input and help. So we appreciate that, Josiel. Looking forward to seeing those.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much, Josiel, for figuring out at least 2 more options, and for continuing to push forward on that. Kevin, do you have an update on the harmonization for 25th Street? I know this is particularly important to the Atlantis Club on 25th Street.
Hi there. So Kevin Pluto of Marketing Communications. As Mina mentioned, I believe that's something that's going to commence in phase 2 of this project, where the construction is going to start. I heard we actually met with that property. We have a signed license agreement with them. So they approved the proposed scope of work that was presented to them. So once that commences in phase 2, whatever the harmonization is at the Atlantis and I believe at EF schools, it's going to be a minimal impact on their private property. So I believe, and I don't know the details of it, it might impact 1 or 2 stairs on their property. So that's where we are now in terms of what's next. We're just waiting for phase 2 to start. They've already approved of the work. They've signed that license agreement. So once we get there schedule-wise, I believe we have everything we need. Right, Mina?
Yes.
Great. Well, we look forward to learning about that schedule. And as you mentioned, it may have minimal impact on their private properties, but will have impacts on our entire MidBeach corridor and anyone who enters in MidBeach and drives along Collins or commutes through Collins Avenue. And so we are very interested in being kept aware of what is phase 2. And if we can have that up front, it will just help us be able to better prepare the residents and hotels for what's to come. We have a very special guest here with us today. We have Captain Jovan Campbell with the police department. And in Miami Beach, we have had the next 2 items, the Beach Walk Working Group and Collins Corridor Project, are really centered on the safety of our community. And it's been something that we have continued to work on for a month after month. And Captain, if you can take a few minutes to introduce yourself. I don't think we've had the pleasure of meeting virtually. And so if you can go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'd like to follow up with a few questions, if that's okay with you. And Officer Hazy, who we are glad to see here with us today.
Good evening, everyone. I hope that you all can see me and hear me. For whatever reason, I've been having some technical difficulties. I've had to sign on like times already. So thank you for welcoming me to your association meeting. I recently became the captain of MidBeach since June, but of course, due to the pandemic, it's been very difficult to meet with some people, some associations. So I'm also finally get an opportunity to meet you all. I requested to meet you all. I didn't have anything on the agenda specifically to discuss, but I just need to put a name, face, and know that I replaced Captain Robinson. So I'm overseeing you guys and your neighborhood. You all have my full commitment to quality of life. There are certain issues that need to be addressed all city of Miami Beach, particularly MidBeach. So I'm committed to address those issues. You have a great team that works under me, and you all will get the best.
Thank you so much, Captain. And we really do appreciate Officer Hazy and your entire team. I do want to give you kudos. Oh, are you still speaking? I just want to make sure I didn't cut you off. Were you still saying?
No, no, I didn't have anything specific to say. I just wanted to introduce myself to you all. I've been with the department for 16 years. My first assignment as an area commander, so to have people like Officer High to show me some ropes, introduce me to the several contexts we have all across our area. I'm just forward continuing to learn from him and others, and as a team, we will improve our area. Not that it's bad at all, but there's always room for improvement. I'm sure that you all would agree, and y'all have a commitment to do that.
Captain Campbell, and Officer Hazy, I know we have a couple people from Terra Beach at this meeting, and we have received serious allegations and complaints of situations of numerous accidents happening in, and maybe one of the representatives from Terra, Karen, I think there's somebody else here from Terra Beach.
And I'm gonna hold on that 1 second, Alicia, because that's part of your Collins Avenue working group.
Yes, no, I think this is more immediate security issue as far as speeding. I thought about that. I think it's more important if they can address it right here so that they can be really aware, and then we'll just
Thank you.
quickly.
Yeah, I've lived here for 32 years, and so I've seen this particular corner when it had trees. And anyway, the point is that there have been 5 accidents within maybe the last year. What happens is there's a very blind curve coming around just by the bath club. So it's 59th Street. It's where the beach access, public beach access is on between the Maison Grand and the south side of the Terra Beach side. So if you're crossing Collins Avenue over there, it is and they fly around. It is not even crossing the street. You cannot walk on the sidewalk. The last accident that happened 2 nights ago was at 9 p.m. at night. And I've seen those cars on a curb speeding, hug that curb. So even if you're just walking on your dog on the sidewalk, they hug the curb, they jump the curb. Someone I know got hit in the head with a mirror off of a car while they were, people have been hit over there. Tons and tons of, there's been 5 major accidents just involving my building on that curve. And it's not something that somebody needs to look into. It just has to be dealt with immediately, because it's a harrowing experience to have to just even walk around the block or try to cross the street. And I'd like to know what if anyone plans on doing anything, or what my next step would be to expedite this, because it's way too dangerous.
Captain Campbell, is there anything being done immediately? I understand there are some projects that are being done for safety, but we're talking 5 years from now for those completions of those projects. What can't be done immediately? We can't wait any longer.
Get killed, and then you're going to feel terrible.
Right.
So you might as well just do something now. I mean, people have been hit over there. And I'm not just talking about fender benders, I'm talking about cars. This car 2 nights ago slammed into a steel fence, knocked down a tree, skidded back across Collins Avenue and hit a wall and a fire pump at the bathhouse. I mean, it was both. I don't even know how anyone survived it. I've never seen, it's just one after the other. It's constant.
So Commissioner and Captain, just 1 second. I do have Commissioner Minor who has his hand up. And so Commissioner Minor, would you like to make a comment? And then we'll bring it back to Captain Campbell. And then we'll bring it back to Karen and the members to continue to discuss.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, actually, I wasn't familiar with this situation with Terra, but I'm glad to hear it. I do have an item on that's been referred to the Neighborhoods Committee to discuss the excessive speeding in Miami Beach. So to address this citywide, because I have heard a number of complaints, especially along the Collins Avenue corridor, of cars really especially late at night with excessive speeding. So we will be discussing that and addressing that shortly.
Thank you, Commissioner Minor. And I really appreciate that all of our, that we don't have district commissioners, that all of our commissioners are citywide, but please also remember that MidBeach somehow always gets the short end of the stick. If it's either funding, implementation, or design. Look at the front yard of ours. Collins Avenue is awful. And they're about to do a 4-year project. MBNA was formed to do this safety project along Collins Avenue in 2017. And where are we in 2020? And Director Gonzalez is about to give us an update that's going to make everyone shiver when they hear that our project has once again been paused. And so as we look to our leadership to ensure that MBNA receives the representation and the resources that we think we deserve based on our taxes and our hotels and our contributions to this community, and just because we're residents of Miami Beach, and we keep on getting skipped over from South Beach to North Beach, and somehow MidBeach, I mean, look at 41st, look at other areas, and I know you are MidBeach. You know, if we did have district commissioners, there's a few of you that would really be contenders for that spot. And but I do want to mention again, speeding is an issue, and this isn't the first time we've said it. And so I'm really eager to hear how Captain Campbell's team is going to be able to do some immediate strategies or something to try to address this in the near term. Captain?
Okay, again, I apologize.
Captain, you're breaking up a little bit. Captain, you're breaking up a little bit. Do you, is there any other kind of signal? Maybe there's a different Wi-Fi or something else that you might be able to connect to?
I'm actually disconnected from Wi-Fi because I kept
Officer Hazy, can you address it?
Let me try to get the captain on landline and see if he can answer the question, and I'll go ahead and relate, or maybe I'll put him on speaker. Give me 1 sec.
You can use the phone behind you too, the pink one. I think that's gonna, I think we can get him maybe on that one as speaker. Really
Hey, hey, Captain, how are you? I'm gonna try to this. I'm going to put you on speaker. Maybe you can answer the question for them as far as the speeding on Collins Avenue. Okay, I'm going to put you on speaker. Okay, I'm going to put him on speaker. Hopefully this works. Okay, can you go ahead, Captain?
Yes. Hello. I apologize again. Sorry, I keep getting kicked off of here. I didn't hear anything that the commissioner said. I heard part of the Terror Beach complaint that has to do with speeding.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear us? Captain, can you hear us now? Can you hear us okay now?
I can hear you through Hazi's phone.
Okay, wonderful. So Commissioner Minor just gave you all the resources you need to ensure that there is safety is addressed in MidBeach. Commissioner Minor, do you want to go ahead and give us an update again so that Captain can hear it before he gives us his response? I just want to ensure that he has had an opportunity to hear from you directly, sir.
Sure, and by the way, kudos to Hazy and Captain Campbell. I speak to Captain Campbell quite often, and he's great, and Hazy is as well. So yeah, the item is I actually put an item on the commission calendar for referral to the neighborhoods committee. We'll discuss it there first, and then probably bring it back to the commission. But it's to discuss excessive speeding citywide. I've heard a number of complaints and really wanted to hear our police address that and what kind of speed traps we can set up and how we can address that, especially along the Collins Avenue corridor. That's where I hear it the most.
Sorry, Commissioner, you said the Collins Quarter?
Yeah, that's what I hear. Now, some of the responses I hear are that the mufflers make it sound like they're going faster than they actually are. So, but again, I think there is an issue, and I think we're hearing it. We just heard about the presentation from Terra Group. So Terra, so.
Yes. So we've done details, traffic enforcement details out there on Collins Avenue. I can, reconnect with whoever the point of contact is to get you number of citations that we've issued out there over the past 3 months, 6 months, however you want to go back. We also initiated what we call a track detail, which is tactical response to address a concern. One of the concerns that a resident voiced on behalf of several residents in the MidBeach neighborhood area was this particular motorcycle that every morning at like 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning, who would amp up his muffler and wake up the whole neighborhood. I don't know if you all familiar with that. This was occurring between 50th Street and 55th Street on Collins Avenue. And we set up a detail, and a couple of times we caught him in the act, but he rode off away from us. And as you know, the only way you're going to catch a motorcycle is with a helicopter. So what happened was we caught him a third time, and this time we were able to keep enough eyes on him to see him pull into the Fountain Blue. We ended up identifying who the person was, and we seized his bike, and he faced several fines as well. So whenever complaints are brought to our attention, we do the best we can to set up details to address it. We get speeding complaints on Pine Tree, speeding complaints on Alton Road, and other areas of the city, whether it be the Tuttle, the MacArthur, whatever. So anytime that there's a complaint that comes to our attention, like it is being brought to my attention again tonight, then we'll go ahead and we'll set up a detail to do some traffic enforcement out there.
Any other comments from Officer? Thank you so much, Captain. And any other comments from Officer Hazy or others? Jay and Karen and Alicia and Charlotte, I see that you all are active on the chat and sharing your comments. Feel free to join in the conversation.
Karen wants to speak.
Karen, please
This
go
is
ahead.
not, this is the blind spot. I have never, ever seen a police officer there. This isn't about noise or pretty. This is about lives. And I have never, ever seen a police officer there. And it's a blind curve. It's not even, I don't even know if they're going more than 25 miles an hour. It needs a light. It needs a light. Somebody has to.
Karen, we'll talk about that when we talk about FDOT.
Okay.
Safety, police, speeding is one thing. The other thing is changing the A1A. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good point, Alicia. We have enforcement strategies that Captain Campbell's talking about. And I don't know, is there something else that can be done? Is there something through community policing? Is there something through the neighborhood speed watch? Or is there something through, something else along the lines of enforcement? And then in a moment, as Alicia mentioned, we'll talk a little bit about engineering. And then as well as in that contract with FDOT, there is funding to try to be able to create a social environmental change. And some of what's coming, I think that what some of our MidBeach residents have shared in the past is it's not necessarily us who live here who may also drive similar cars or not, or motorcycles or not, but it's those that come visit us. It's those that, and so unless these roads are designed in a way that are going to make our streets complete and are going to make our streets really discourage speeding and try to target zero injuries and zero fatalities, we're not going to see any kind of change in this community. And so, but we are excited to hear about some resources and some, speed trap or something with that, specifically with that blind spot. And so, Captain, who do we work with? Officer Hazy, will he be able to give us a timeline and a schedule, or not maybe specific by time, but at least a window so that we can let our members know that this is being addressed in some manner?
I think we lost him. I have an idea. Commissioner Minor, maybe the city staff can.
Can you all hear me?
Go ahead, officer. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was saying that I will meet up with Hazy and also discuss the issue with Captain Robinson, who is over our motor unit, and see, how we can go about to schedule some details. If I understand correctly, what the lady is saying is that it's not necessarily a speeding issue. It seems to be more of a road design issue, which is something that we wouldn't be able to do anything about. If there's a speeding issue or there are traffic violations that are being committed, then that's where, we can come into play at. But I can tell you that even though you may not see an officer stationary there in that area, that area right there is very close to the border of where our middle district is separated from our north district. So we have frequent visibility that comes through that area just by virtue of the officers who leave the station from the south end, who take Collins Avenue to drive up to the north end, and those who are getting ready to get off from the north end, driving back to the south end, as well as those who are assigned to that area. So there should never be like a long period of time without some police presence in that area. So that's something that I will look to address with my lieutenants that work under me, to let them know that, Collins Avenue, particularly around 59th Street, should be an area that we have constant traversing going on in marked police vehicles, as well as, like I said, I'll get with Captain Robinson to see if we can set up any details, traffic enforcement details, by utilizing our motor units. Just so you know, our patrol units, the officers who are actually riding in marked vehicles, we have 6 of those, 6 of them that patrol from Dade Boulevard to 63rd Street and from Collins Avenue to the west end of the Julia Tuttle. Okay, so those officers are constantly either answering calls. 3 of them are assigned to proactive details. So that leaves us with the other 3 to basically take care of the rest of the Middle Beach area. So from a practical standpoint, I can't promise that I can have an officer dedicated to be stationary on 59th Street out of those 6, but that's when we use our special units like the motor units who augment our staffing, who can be assigned to details like that to try to enhance the safety in that area that you're speaking of.
Okay, thank you. I know.
It needs a light, not an officer, but thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and Karen, we're gonna try to address that a little bit more on this next item. I'm gonna skip over Beach Walk and go straight to the Collins Corridor project because I think it's a better segue. Captain Campbell, again, and as you mentioned it, just hearing you speak about it, I mean, we are constantly a pass-through here in MidBeach. We go, everyone goes to north and everyone goes to south, but somehow we get lost in the middle, and it's just, you can feel it. You can feel it in our community. I'm excited to see the 2 new patrols that were stationed there. Commissioner Minor reported on that at our October meeting, and we are seeing some differences on 41st Street, and we're hoping to see additional changes come to 41st. But we also need change in Collins. I mean, we only have 3 or 4 roads in MBNA. I mean, it can't be that difficult to help this area get to where it needs to be. I mean, this is really some a prime area in our community, and it just needs a little more attention, a little more tender loving care.
So we're gonna start in A1A. Are we doing groups, working groups already?
We're going to skip agenda item C, and we're gonna go to agenda item D, which is the Collins Corridor project, and it should really be the Collins Avenue Working Group. So we're going to talk about now Collins Corridor project that began decades ago and has still not happened. And in 2017, we were made aware because speeding and because because pedestrians hit by cars was so high, FDOT said, well, let's take away our 10 crosswalks and make 5. And Josie Ellen Jose can correct me if I'm wrong, but MBNA advocated very strongly against that project when it was at 67% in design. It ended up being 100% in design, and the project was stopped thanks to our commission and our mayor, the secretary, and others, and all the way up into the state legislature that listened to us. And so we now have that project has been rescoped, and we have begged for them not to consider from 47th to 58th as it was previously considered, but really do it from 41st all the way through 63rd. And we'll hear about where that project is today. We're also, if we can talk about the intersection and any other item that you would like to speak about regards with Collins Avenue, Alicia?
Okay, so before I start on that, real quick, as I was thinking, is it possible, and maybe Commissioner Minor, you can head that we can put on 59th right before the curve, maybe slow speed zone blinking light temporary until we can get one fixed. I don't think that should be a big deal. I'm sure FDOT wouldn't have a problem with something temporary. And at least while you're turning, there could be a flashing light that says slow speed. I think that would be helpful. Is that a possibility that city staff with Commissioner Minor leading that? And then eventually make it permanent, but for now?
Yeah, is anybody from transportation on from the city?
This is Josiah Ferrer.
Yes.
Hey.
Just wanted to, as I was hearing the conversation, this is an area that we have made certain requests to FDOT in the past, and just to let you know, the things that at least in the past couple years have been included. There was some new signage installed for reduced curve ahead. There was some pavement markings attached or stripe that said the word slow and 20 miles per hour on the floor. The pavement markings, there were right at the curve, just north of 5875, there was a speed limit, a speed feedback sign. So the sign that Alicia, the one that you're describing, there's one installed right at the edge of that, what has been described as the blind curve here. That already exists there. And then there's one further south.
Right there?
Yes.
That Karen is saying no.
Right north of 5875, I can send a picture right now. I can share my screen if it would be easier.
Okay, let's look into it. We have a lot of agenda items, Anna Maria. I know we're running a little bit late here because we didn't have this on the agenda. So let's look into it, and maybe you can reach out to Terra Beach and May and meet with them and see how we can find something that can help alleviate the situation, please.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'll follow up as well with you
Thank
guys.
you. That would be great.
Sure, sure.
Alicia, if I may, this is also important for your resolution, for your working group's resolution for FDOT. I mean, we have to document this. If the city has already asked for things to happen, if we are continuing to have this is another reason why the project cannot be paused, the project cannot be delayed, and we need FDOT, we need the state to continue with the project as planned, and funding needs to be allocated and secured for the entirety of that corridor.
Absolutely. Okay, so on October 27th, Anna Maria and I met with Don Hardy. He is the consultant at Renaissance Planning, and Tiffany Gerke, who represents the FDOT on this massive project that, as Anna Maria explained, was supposed to take place many, many moons ago. And that's the redesign of A1A. The initial project started at 47th and ended at 59th. We are advocating for a full coverage of 41st to 63rd. And we were very excited. They presented a little slideshow at our last month's meeting, and we were looking forward. They were going to create groups throughout the community of representatives, one from the MBNA and one from different parts of our community and so forth. And we received the terrible news that coming from Governor DeSantis's office, this project had been put on hold. After our shock of hearing this, they explained that this is not forever, that this is a temporary hold, that it could be 3 to 4 months. But right now, Tiffany said, we are all in agreement that Collins Avenue from 41st to 63rd needs to be redesigned, and we need to prioritize safety. There are a lot of ideas that have happened. Today, we're going to announce the working group that will be working with me on this. And our working group will be meeting hopefully once or twice a month to strategize on how to proceed. But in the meantime, Anna Maria and I and our group, of course, will have input, and we're going to create a resolution that we have to put in motion today, our board, to present to Governor DeSantis and everybody from the top down, state and city officials, so that we are going to be pressuring them to prioritize our project, including funding. Apparently the issue is funding, obviously, we understand that, but there is funding, and where it goes is the issue. And this one has been many, many years in the making, probably about 12 years in the making. So we want to, and it deals with the frontage road. For those that have never heard about this project, it deals with eliminating the frontage road and what we do with a bike lane, a separated bike lane, and so forth. So right now, what we need to do is put a motion. I'll be glad to put a motion for the MBNA to present a motion to Governor DeSantis and other officials to improve to redesign A1A from 41st to 63rd. because it's for a number of reasons that we will itemize in our resolution. So we just need a second. We're not going to spend time on telling you what we're putting in there because we haven't drafted it yet, but you're going to have to all trust us on that. Board members will share it with you. So go ahead and
Deborah Lake makes a motion, or if you need me a second.
The motion has been made by Alicia. Is there a second to Alicia's motion?
Deb just seconded.
Second.
Okay, great. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's proceed. So regarding my group, it's not called committees, by the way, they're called working groups. We are also going to be working on, when we wanted to answer that, there was an issue with the 4,500 and the 5,200 block, that the light won't turn. So the city called us back and we heard that there is a pedestrian push button that was broken. It's been reported and they will be repairing it. So if any of you are seeing that happening, it's going to be addressed. For the pandemic, they all went on auto. So that's why we'd stop at every corner, because they didn't want the pedestrians or the users to press the buttons to cross the street. Now that's been removed. So the traffic should definitely flow a lot better. The intersection of 41st and Collins is something we'll be working on. We want the study to proceed. We sent it to FDOT. And before I give this over to Jose to give us some answers of that, we will also go on record that we've been advocating for some holiday lighting. We certainly appreciate that Commissioner Minor was amazing. He is responsible for all those white lights on the palm trees on 41st. We know we can't do that now, mostly with hopefully an upcoming project. But if we can get creative and do something pretty on Collins and our MidBeach, especially from 41st to 63rd, when you make a left, after having exited that lit up 41st, all of a sudden everything is pitch black for the holidays. Let's get some creativity and make it pretty for this holiday season, especially since we're not going to go into any construction now. So if you can help us with that, Commissioner Minor, I know they're going to kill you if you talk about more lights, but that would be wonderful. So now, Jose, if you can
Sounds good.
talk to us about, thank you, Commissioner. I know you will. Thank you. If you can talk to us about 41st and Collins, that intersection study that we want to proceed with, and how soon we'll get that study done, we'd appreciate it.
Sure. Good evening, Alicia, Maria, and MBNA. So I'll start with the 41st Street Indian Creek Collins study. And quite by coincidence, Anna Maria and I were talking about that study earlier. And I think DOT's ears were ringing, because right after, probably even an hour after Anna Maria and I finished talking about that project, FDOT sent us an email with their comments. So finally, they reviewed the study that the city prepared. We actually took the lead and did a traffic study to try to improve safety, both for pedestrians as well as for vehicles, and the operation of that's those two intersections which are so problematic. It's 41st and Indian Creek and 41st and Collins. So we received FDOT's comments today. My team is going through FDOT's comments. At first glance, we didn't see anything there that was very, glaring, or we didn't see a fatal flaw, but we have to go through all their comments and concerns. And then our plan is to come back before you. I understand it'll be January because you're not meeting in December, but what we can do is provide a very thorough.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Jose, but if you need to meet with us before, we can hold a special meeting. We don't want to ever delay a project. So if this is something that needs community input or community support, we can hold a special meeting specifically for this project, and maybe it could be like an extension of Alicia's working group. So
right, and I just want to make one comment about that. When you said they didn't find any glaring issues with that section, but definitely the section coming from Indian Creek going south and turning a right into 41st Street, you used to have one lane there. So the cars would slow down for pedestrian because it was one lane. Now you got two lanes. So even if one car slows down, the other lane is not slowing down. They're speeding and they're going to hit a pedestrian crossing the street there. There's no lights.
Right,
They-
right.
That's a major
And
platform.
after last month's MBNA meeting, my team went out there, and sure enough, there was, there wasn't enough signs. And my understanding is that now there should be at least one, if possibly two of the signs that say "Stop for pedestrians on crosswalk."
Yeah, that has helped.
I
That is
know
help.
that.
That is help.
that-
Yes.
Yeah,
that-
these
I
are
know,
a small
Jos-
sign. These are a small
Yeah.
sign, and the driver didn't see. Cross this area is so hard. It's so difficult.
It's
You
very
gotta
dangerous.
stop.
Very
Yeah,
dangerous.
you gotta stop the traffic with your hand because
Right.
it's never crossed there. Never.
Very
Right,
dangerous. Two
right.
lanes, they're speeding to the right, and someone's gonna get hit. God
Right.
forbid.
Well,
It's very dangerous.
Right, but I do want to emphasize that is what's out there today is a temporary condition. It's what we call an MOT, a maintenance of traffic, that was put in place as a result of the Indian Creek construction project. So what is out there today, the way that it looks like today, is not how it will be in the future. What we would like to do is to keep the two lanes. We think that works well. The two southbound lanes making a right to go west on 41st Street. We think that works well from a vehicular perspective, because the traffic, it flushes traffic pretty well. But I think we can all agree, and it's what I'm hearing now, which it's not a safe situation for pedestrians. It's actually very unsafe. So we have to try to keep the good and improve on what's not so good. So I guess
Maybe with
our
flashing
desire would be,
lights, eventually having flashing lights so people know, stop for pedestrians so they know it's a crosswalk.
we could certainly, that would be, I guess, after the signs that were placed. I know my team went out there, placed those. We were going to conduct some observations to see if we felt it was still a little unsafe. And then we can always talk to the contractor, because remember, this is all part of that MOT from the Indian Creek Drive project. So we can talk to, I don't know if Mina is on the line, but we could follow up with her and see if it would be possible to have the contractor install some temporary flashing lights or beacons there. We could, the best we can do at this point is to ask.
Mina's no longer with us, but I believe Vanessa and Kevin are still on. And so Vanessa, will you be able to communicate that and coordinate that between the departments for us, please?
Yes, I do know that the current MOT was something that just got approved. But we can always do revisions, and I'll communicate that with the contractor and Mina.
Thank you. Okay, next
Yeah.
working.
So then we'll coordinate with you all to see if it's possible to pin down a December date to present to the MBNA the different concepts, because we developed several alternatives for those two intersections on 41st, several alternatives, and we could walk through that, analysis, the pros, the cons of each of the alternatives, and then we have sort of our staff recommendation, based on the study that we did. We've got our own recommendations. We could share that, with you and FDOT's comments. We could do that in December.
And we're going to see the site plan of the proposals?
Yes. Yeah, we'll have visuals.
November, why December? Let's do it so that we don't have a meeting in December. So maybe the first week right after Thanksgiving, we can do that. If you can present that to us, the sooner the better, so we can get it going.
Okay.
Alicia, may I ask Jose to respond to Susan's comment? I just want to make sure it happens. Is it okay to share my screen?
Sure.
Jose, can you please advise on the picture, on the photo that was shared with us, please?
There you go. Okay.
This part here, why is this turn closed and when will it be opened?
This
This
is
is at 55th.
This is just to my knowledge, it's part of a private contract, private maintenance of traffic effort. We would have to double check with the Public Works Department to see what the date is for that. But to my knowledge, this is part of a private project that was occurring.
So I can.
Is this
What does that mean? Private project?
It is part of
private
a
development?
yeah private development project.
Like not a city project, but a hotel or a building that's.
So what kind of hotel or building project would prevent like the public from being able to turn?
Because it's causing a lot of backup.
Exactly, it is all the time. And it's been like that for weeks and no work is being done whatsoever. And all the buildings that are on the bay side that need to turn to go north now have to go in front of the firehouse to turn, and there is backup on Collins.
We will double check with the Public Works Department.
Who are you with, Susanna? What building?
5600 condominium.
Okay.
You guys, this is the perfect thing to reach out to me anytime. I'll touch base, and the best we can do is just check who has the permit for that and see who it is. But it's not a city project unless it could be FPL, it could be a utility that we don't always have jurisdiction over, but I'll double check that.
Can you put your contact information again, Vanessa, in the chat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Susan, we can also follow up. We'll find out and try to disseminate that information so you can let your members know. Since many of you represent one property and then report back to your members. So thank you for that. Alicia, please continue.
No, I think we've got it.
No, the Collins Avenue corridor project. Anything else, Jose? Because you really skipped to the intersection one, but anything else on the Collins corridor?
Yeah. Well, on that one, Ana Maria, I think it's just very important now more than ever to speak with a strong, unified voice to FDOT. Really, and for the benefit of the members, FDOT is not immune to the pandemic and the financial impacts of the pandemic that many agencies have suffered. I mean, a primary source of their revenues is gas tax. And obviously during the pandemic, when everything was shut down, people were not driving as much. The message was, stay home, stay safe. So I'm sure that they've seen a big dip in their revenues, and probably a dip that will remain for some time. And so they're looking to see what they can cut. And this is a situation where we need to, how they say the squeaky wheel, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. We need to make sure that we squeak and that we squeal, because we've waited too long for this. Finally, it was on track. FDOT was amenable to actually studying the entire corridor, as you said, from 41st to 63rd, and then we were given this very bad news. So we are here to support MBNA, and anything that we can do, at staff level, we will also do. I think this is something that really merits the attention of city administration, our elected officials, because it is that important of a project. And so I believe FDOT said that they will come back to us in about a couple months. They are going to try to find funding, and I think we really believe that they are. Mm-hmm.
Jose, I'm sorry to interrupt. I know that they're going to try, but and as much as they have been impacted by our gas prices going down, I mean, us not using gas, they've also saved a lot of money. The 395 over a bridge has been a huge saving for them because they were able to expedite construction throughout 95, throughout 395, right in our jurisdiction. because they were able to construct faster. And if you look at how much construction costs per day, their savings should be astronomical, actually, and that hopefully will offset the cost of the loss of folks from the gas taxes. I'm hoping that will offset a little bit. I'm not saying they're not going to be hurt, but this project needs to be a priority. How many times do I have to go out? It's because Fountain Blue and Indian Rock don't have and Grand Beach, Miami Beach Resort's closed right now, but others don't have as many employees. But in the past, every few months you'd see an employee that had gotten hit by a car as they were going from the bus stop across Collins Avenue. Every once in a while you see a crash on Collins Avenue. That's horrific. Or in the middle of the night you wake up and you hear of ambulances and car crashes. I mean, we constantly have an issue that we can't use our front yard because it's a large road and it is not well designed, and we need FDOT to pay attention to this and prioritize it. So can you please also speak to your city manager? Can we please request for the mayor, and we will reach out to the mayor, to Mayor Gelber, and request for him to continue to meet with Secretary Wolf. We'll reach out to Mayor Daniela Levine Cava, even though she doesn't come into office until a little bit from now, but at least to put it on her radar, and as well as Commissioner Higgins. I've seen Commissioner Higgins advocate loudly on Flagler Street when in her district, they were not doing what needed to be done in the best interest of the community. And we just need these advocates now more than ever. And so if you could please help us connect, and then Alicia will go ahead and do the back end on our side.
No, I'm getting texts that we still have the beach walk to talk about. So, but yes, if you can help us with that resolution at some point.
Absolutely. That's why we're here. Yep.
So we want to get it out as fast as possible.
Great.
Absolutely. This is serious stuff. It's probably our #1 priority. And that's why we formed, as Anne Marie said a little while ago. Should I just run into Beach Walk real quick, Anne Marie? Since
yeah, go ahead if you want to just go through it real quick, because I know the Beach Walk Working Group's been working on this so much. So actually, why don't we just open it up to members and see if they have any questions, we can address it. We had a great picture that was sent by one of our members today. And they said, don't let this happen in MidBeach. And it was to ensure that the pavers of our beach walk, there was tons of extra in stock, because if not, they come and they put different pavers in and the color looks awful, and it looks really bad when a paver breaks or when it's sunken in from the water or from any kind of flooding effect. And so Ariel, are you here with us today?
Are you going to share the picture, Annie?
I am. I'm going to put it up on the screen, but if any, do any of the other members have comments or questions?
I mean, are you going to talk about the graffiti on the pavers?
So yes. We sent that to all of our members today. The graffiti, if you're not on our WhatsApp chat and you would like to be, please send us your phone number and I'll add you now to the WhatsApp chat. There was about 33 different markings of graffiti on the beach walk from 53rd to 52nd. And we want to congratulate the city, because within a matter of days, all of it was removed to our knowledge. That's what was reported today. And so thank you, city, for responding so quickly. But I think this really highlights the need for the cameras. This is why we need cameras. This is why MBNA did not want to settle when the GEO bond did not include cameras for our area. And we need to secure funding so that 47th to 53rd has appropriate cameras and has enough security and safety in our community. And so that's an update. Does anybody have an update on those cameras? Kevin, Vanessa, Ariel, anyone else?
I think Ariel hopped off because he assumed this was getting skipped, but I could give his update, which is on the beach walk. The cameras, which is PD, Anna Marie, I don't know if Captain Campbell has an update, but I did not invite Rolly. Yeah, so where do you want me to start?
Go ahead.
No, we'll go ahead. We'll wait and ask Captain Campbell on the side and try to email everyone about that. Any other comments or questions from the community?
I just quickly.
Yes, Anna Marie.
I'm sorry, we're going to go to Alexis, and then somebody spoke up a moment ago. Who was it?
It's Robert.
Robert, okay. Yes. So after Alexis, Robert, Alexis Delgado.
I just wanted to make a quick comment to Hazi, because he was there bright and early this morning, ensuring that our beach walk was nice and clean. So he's always there, and it's great to have his presence there all the time.
Thank you so much, Alexis. He's not with us. He's not with us right now. No, he's logged off, but we'll share this recording and we'll share this message with him. Robert?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just the other day, I believe it was just the other day, I got a communication from somebody over at GeoBonds indicating that the security cameras, the infrastructure that's underground that needed to be installed, there was a little bit of, I guess you could say, a mix-up or some kind of confusion that prevented the contractor from continuing any of the work. So now they're re-coordinating things, and hopefully the delay of approximately 60 days to get this work done will be taken care of. And, they still intend on having that section of the beach walk.
Which section are you referring to? Because I was referring to the cameras from 47th North. Are you referring to the camera work on 24th to 44th?
Correct.
Okay, so the current construction. So in the current construction, again, there's been, did you just say there's been poor planning and poor management? And so
well, not poor, but it's just that there's been some delays in getting the infrastructure done properly, and looks like there's been some delays, but they intend on getting things done and completed by June 2021. That's according to the.
So November 6th is the next neighborhood committee meeting. I don't know if Commissioner Minor's still on, and that's correct. Commissioner Samuel's office reached out to MBNA to let us know that the beach walk timeline and the transparency and this project, the construction project itself, will be at the neighborhood committee meeting, and they would like for MBNA members to be present. So please let your properties know, especially if they abut this construction from 24th to 44th, they should be present and they should be active and vocal in what they would like to see done, or any concerns they might have had with this beach walk.
Steve?
Thank you, Anna Marie. As we head into this winter, where we're going to continue to face challenges of COVID and our hospitality industries and all of us who spend half of our lives now or more in Miami Beach. Opening the beach walk from 24th Street North and all along there, even in pieces, and even without whatever infrastructure in terms of lighting will ultimately be installed, maybe that would be considered unsafe. But this, I think, is just one of the highest public health contributions that can be made to MidBeach at this time. It is to get as much as possible of the beach walk open for the influx of our residents and our visitors who will be coming in the next couple of months. So I don't know who to beseech or beg to give this attention, but thank you for the opportunity to at least make the pitch for that.
Anna Marie?
Thank you. Thank you. 1 second, Robert. Thank you, Steve. And we'll go ahead and share this video and your comment with our commissioners, elected officials, and the neighborhood committee that will be listening to this, and in the office of the Inspector General, because they're the ones that are overseeing how this funding is spent and if it's being spent wisely and transparently in the way that it's supposed to be spent. So we'll reach out. Robert, one final comment, and we're going to go ahead and move on.
CIP is responsible for the oversight, from what I understand. They're always reporting to the GeoBond on this issue regarding getting the beach walk taken care of. But as we noticed when they were doing the work in back by us from 47th up north, you remember the way they did it in sections, where they would do a little bit up on the north, then they would go to the south, and then they finally met in the middle when they completed the project. They're doing the same thing on this end from 24th to 46th. The same way they're doing stuff on the south side, then they do a little bit of work on the north side, and they ping pong back and forth. And whatever weather delays they incur, hey, that's part of the deal living down here. But otherwise, I don't think that if they had more of a crew trying to do the work,
that anything would be accomplished. They would just be stepping all over each other.
And if I may,
Thank you for your comment. Yes.
yeah, so Commissioner Minor is looking into this. Actually, a few months ago, because of the closure, I had to run to Collins when I was biking to South Beach, and I did get hit by a car. Luckily, I'm okay. So it is something serious. We've been contacted about this. We are looking at different alternatives. We even considered getting the Moby mat through the sand, going around the closure. But yeah, we're looking at alternatives, and Steve made a good point to opening up in sections if it's possible. So I'll follow up with that.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Thank you, and thank Commissioner Minor. So we have two more items I want to go ahead and go through before we adjourn today's meeting in about 4 minutes. So the first one is working groups. And Alicia is going to go ahead and share her screen and show us the working groups that have been proposed. These are now formalized working groups, and the commitment is to meet about 6 times a year in between our meetings to really be able to move the needle forward on some of this. For example, in the beach walk, the type of design of the pavers, we've gone from having a large lane in the middle to 3 equal lanes so that we can encourage traffic to stay to the right and to the left and the bikes in the middle. And that was a change that we were able to make over this past month. So starting with the first beach walk working group, they're going to be working on the beach walk design, as I just mentioned, the traffic signage, which we discussed extensively in the October meeting, surveillance cameras, bollards. We need bollards. You won't see MBNA talking about this in the WhatsApp chat as much or in social media, because we don't want to put any ideas in people's heads, but we really do need bollards. We see trucks are just too readily and too easily driving onto our beach walks, and we fear for the safety of those that use it. And then the final phase of construction from 24th to 41st. And so again, we'll be at the committee meeting discussing that. The beach and water quality working group is going to be really focused on sargassum, seawall ordinance, beach renourishment, the fish kill, and the Biscayne Bay Health Summit, and some of the recommendations that committee has made. The public space working group is working on, and we had Abigail was on earlier. Nagler is part of our Indian Beach working group, and Deborah and Melinda and others that are here with us today. And they'll also be working, this public space working group will also be working on the utility markings led by Jack Levin Brown, and the MidBeach access to the Bayshore Park, where Dr. Manny Corrales will be leading. And the Indian Creek working group is something that we mentioned earlier in today's meeting that Esteban Porcelli is leading, and that is fairly evident what they'll be working on. The Collins Corridor working group is going to be changed. It's going to be Collins Avenue working group, and the Collins Avenue working group will be talking about the Collins Corridor project, the 41st Street intersection, holiday lighting, etc. And then the membership working group is going to be to recruit and facilitate and follow up with new hotel and condominium members. We always have liaisons. It's not a working group, but we do have liaisons at the Geo Bond Oversight Committee, and Robert really chairs and kind of spearheads that, and he's going to be passing the baton to Clive Pierce, who we're very grateful to be involved. So to be a chair of a working group, not necessarily liaison, but in a working group, you do need to be an executive board member. And so this is one of the requirements if somebody would like to submit their bio to be an executive board, is that you would chair one of these groups and you really kind of focus and hone in on one of these projects. Everybody's name who's listed here, we've reached out to. I believe there's only, so Jose Chavez will not be on the Indian Creek working group. He has made that known. And aside from Jose, I believe everybody else has either confirmed or they have been actively involved in the past, and we're hoping they will consider staying on to the working groups. Today, the executive board is going to ratify the decision to form these groups and to solidify these groups for 2020 to 2021. Do I have a motion from one of our board members?
I just made a final, as you were speaking, I made the final.
Thank you, Alicia, I saw that.
I also saw that Ada put on her chat that she wants to join a group. I'm not sure which one, Ada?
The Collins Avenue. Yeah, the Collins Avenue one. Do I have a motion for these to ratify the working group development?
I make the motion that we ratify the working group development.
Thank you, Melinda. Do I have a second?
Pepper Lake seconds that motion. Oh, Michelle Redlick did.
Thank you, Michelle Redlick, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Any opposed? Hear none, all in favor, pass. The motion passes. And so the last motion we have is that one of our founding board members, and if you could stop sharing with us, Alicia, that would be great. So one of our founding board members, George Acosta, has chosen to move on. And remember that we were thinking about having elections today. So now we have a spot opened on the executive board. And so if you have a nomination of someone that you would like to nominate for us to vote now to have a fill-in from here to April, please place it on the chat. I know I received one earlier for our GeoBond oversight liaison, Robert Wabrinowitz, who has also applied and submitted his bio for the executive board. Is there any others? Any other names?
I could fill in for George until April.
I'm sorry, Eda, what was that?
I could fill in for George until April.
Thank you so much. So we have also Eda who would like to fill in for George until April.
So,
do I have a second for Eda Valero? Ay, Eda, nunca puedo decir su apellido bien. Figuera. Or Robert Wabrinowitz?
Robert Wabrinowitz.
Okay.
Oh, Robert is one.
Okay.
I second Eda.
Great. So we have 2 seconds.
oh boy.
Is there a vote? How should I facilitate this? Let's vote for each. No.
So this is the board would have to, the way I'm seeing it is the board has to nominate the replacement.
Okay, so since Eda's self-nominated, hers would not count. Is that what we're saying, Alicia?
Right. So we would, and we don't need necessarily to do it right now. I think we can discuss who's involved and maybe get their resumes. And we know Eda, of course, she was a former board member. We also know Robert, who has been attending every single meeting since day one. This is not a voted thing. So in other words, nobody has to vote on this. This is an appointment for a replacement only. And then we have the formal elections obviously coming up for April.
I need a board member. I do feel strongly about having a board member over the next couple of months in our next meetings in January. Can we appoint someone and ratify it in January? Does everybody feel comfortable with that?
Yes.
May I? I apparently was not paying close enough attention. And I think Robert deserves to be on the board because Robert has been so loyal to our organization from day one. So I withdraw and you guys, Robert is perfect.
Thank you, Ada.
That's very
God bless you, Ada. You're so graceful and we always appreciate your leadership. Thank you for being willing to step up.
Thank you.
So it would have been very tough for us.
Is there a motion to appoint Robert Wabrinowitz to serve on the board until April?
Motion.
Yes. Yes.
All in favor?
All in favor.
Okay, great. Any opposed? Hear none, motion passes. Thank you so much. I have no other items. I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Do I have a second to adjourn?
Second.
Motion.
Second by Alicia Casanova, and I will stay on and chat and listen to anyone who may have concerns or just wants to talk through things. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Diana Maria. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Kevin Pulido, do you have a comment?
Bye-bye.
Yes, just a reminder, well, not a reminder, but we've sent out an email. We actually have we may have a tropical storm this weekend. So please check your email. The city sent out a tropical storm preparation email. So take a look there and make sure you get ready for hopefully the last storm in 2020.
Also, MBNA, MidBeach.net. Every day I update whatever the city sends us, the mayor's messages, City of Miami Beach COVID updates, any announcements from any commission that's doing any activity. It always goes up, and I put it on Facebook as well and on our website. So if you want the latest updates from the mayor directly, they are on our website, and any other thing that's happening in our community, and also Facebook. That we have a Facebook account. Please, we need more people on Facebook. So like us on Facebook, and that way all our meeting notices are on Facebook as well. Instagram.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Instagram.
Twitter. We are all over social media. So.
MidBeach.net. And so it is a little confusing. MidBeach.net is our web, and I'm going to put that again for everyone to see. So it's midbeach.net. And then how do you follow us? That is easy. Just go to, it's at MidBeach NA, Neighborhood Association. So MidBeach Neighborhood Association, MidBeach NA. Any other comments or questions?
Okay, I think that's it. Time for
That's
dinner.
it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thomas Winkler, I see you're still on. If you wanted to make any comments, or anyone else that didn't have a chance to speak up, Jose Chavez, if there's anything from Fayena's house that you wanted to chat about, or anyone else that didn't have a chance to discuss things earlier.
Well, Anna Marie, I just wanted to point out that Susanna would like to be on the Collins Avenue group. Is it too late for her to join or not?
Her last name, please.
Santoro.
Susanna what?
Santoro, Santoro.
So since it's a little hard to hear, could somebody type it into the chat for us? That would be great. Susanna, welcome to the Collins Avenue Working Group.
I'm adding you right in now as we speak.
Anyone else who would like to be added?
I think we have a big group, Annie. I think that's it.
Jose Chavez, you want to be added to anything else? I'm just kidding.
We have a big group here. So as soon as I get everybody's email addresses, we'll set up the first meeting as soon as we know anything to discuss. November is a busy month between all that's happening. But we'll meet as soon as possible on Zoom. So all the working groups will be having their own group meetings, and then we'll report to the executive board. So that's how we're going to be managing these working groups. So it makes it, we can really outreach and get your input, and at least so you can all know what's going on when we meet with the city from now on, or the state mostly, but both city and state. So you will be on those calls as well. Okay, and Ana Maria, of course, I don't think she mentioned that, but she's going to be, she's not on any group because she said that she's going to be on all of them. So she is our advisor for all the different working groups. So every time we meet, she will be on as well. That's why you don't see her name in these working groups. Okay.
And I was added to your working group, right?
I've added you on. Yes, I have. Let me share final screen here so that you can see. These are the final names of the working group. See if they're correct, the names. So here is the Collins Avenue Working Group. The project is the Collins Corridor Project. Deb, Robert, Mike Daly, Mark Bisnow, Eda, and Susana now. And I think that's a lot of people, but that's good enough. The state doesn't want a lot of people in their meetings, but not everybody will be able to attend all the time, so that's good. Okay?
Great.
Okay, everybody, happy holidays.
The more the merrier in these working groups. So please, even if you're not sure you can come to the meetings, but you really want to be engaged and understand what's going on in those working groups, sign up for them. You'll get all the notices, and we're looking forward to having you on board.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Thank you, Anna Marie.
Thank you, Alexis. Thank you so much for being on.
Bye-bye.
Bye.